On this video, I'm gonna be teaching you 10 growth hacks that will significantly improve your real estate photography business and help you make more money. And you'll notice that most of these growth hacks are business related, not product related, because that is what it takes to grow your business. And here's the real truth. I would encourage you not to write off any of these until you've tried it or looked at others who have and see the results that they get in their business. I think there's a ton of bad advice in the photography ecosystem about what makes for a good business, and most of it is taught by people who do not have good businesses. And I do not mean this in any way that's derogatory or looking down on them, but it is not a good idea to take advice on business from people who barely make any money and just don't know really how to run a business, that are stuck in their business, that are running it daily. Instead, I'd recommend taking advice from someone who's done what you want to do. And if your goal is to grow a bigger photo business, make more money, and spend less time working in your business, I'd encourage you to listen to this advice because it's coming from someone who has done this and who now works less than 1 hour per month in their photo business. Literally, the only thing I do in my photo business is a once a month profit and loss review. We go through all the charges on our Amex, that kind of stuff, make sure we're not bleeding money. So jumping straight into the video. Number one is having friendly and upbeat communication. I know this one sounds basic, but it is a big unlock for a lot of people who just don't understand how to communicate via written word in an upbeat way and accidentally come across dry. We have a hack at Norman & Young where we have you put a positive interjection at the start of any written communication. So if someone says, hey, can you book a shoot this day? You would say, absolutely, exclamation. And then, when you have a confirmed great exclamation, we've got you down, stuff like that. What we see, and honestly, this is my guys a lot of the time, saying like, okay, period, and just a lot of sloppy communication. So make it professional, make it upbeat, and add exclamation points. It is just the easiest way to come across more friendly in your communication. And we generally see that when people move from the corporate world to small business, they carry a lot of like dry corporate speak over, which has its place maybe in that world, but in the small business world, it just doesn't get you as far as being upbeat and positive does. Tip number two is be willing to tidy and clean up the house. A lot of photographers have an attitude that it is not my job, and I understand that it is not directly your job, but if you do it, you will make a lot of money because you will have a ton of agents who absolutely love working with you. And I know the common thing here is, well, what if I get taken advantage of, and what if they have me clean all these houses? And here's the thing. It will very rarely happen, maybe less than 1 out of 100 properties, but the other 99 properties, you are building so much goodwill with that client and really having them trust you as part of their team. And when they do that, that means that your competition is no longer a risk. In fact, you could even charge more money than your competition and probably deliver a worse quality product. But if the agent counts on you and thinks of you as part of their team and knows that they don't have to go to the shoot because you'll make little tweaks to a pillow here or clean up a messy shower when you have to, you will simply have a better business. It's obviously up to you to choose, but if your goal is to make more money, things that are not your job, you should really look at and see if they can become part of your job. Number three is no annoying fees. If you feel the need to charge fees, build them into your pricing so they're in one clear, straight up pricing. There's none of this, hey, you get added this for this and this for this. And then on top of that, don't charge rescheduling fees or hot weather fees or any of the other fees that people charge in this business. It just irritates people and there's no need for it. Build it into your pricing. The only fee that we ever charge at my business is a distance fee, and we only do that in really extreme circumstances. Our general rule of thumb is anywhere that you want to serve now or in the future, don't charge a distance fee for it. Build that into your pricing unless it's like far away. Number four is sell experience and not product. I've thrown around all kinds of numbers about what % of your business is the experience and what is the product. I've settled on kind of this 80-20 thing lately where I think at least 80% of the things that you can focus on that are important in your business are not related to the product. It's how to have a better service, whether that's just you and it means being more friendly, more accommodating, more on time, less stupid policies, whatever it is. If you focus on making the experience better, you are then again decommoditized. You're detached from your competition. You're able to charge more, make more money, and not lose clients because you're doing things that your competition doesn't do. When people first get into this business, they just compare apples to apples. They look at their competition, they model everything after them, and then they wonder why it's impossible to get ahead because they're modeling a business that isn't doing it right, doesn't have high quality clients, and therefore isn't able to charge prices that are on the premium side. One thing I recommend pricing wise is being in the top 50% of pricing in your area. There's no advantage to being lower than that, and you don't need to go lower if you know what to focus on in your business, which is building high quality relationships. Number 5 is dress nicely. For most people, this goes without saying, but for some people, especially the photographers who come into this from photography backgrounds, we see people who show up to shoots in a way that just isn't that professional, and it's easy to fix that. I'm not saying you have to wear a suit to every shoot, but don't show up in flip-flops and basketball shorts. One of our competitors at Norman & Young literally does that, and we've taken most of his clients. It is not worth it. You are a professional building a real professional business, and it's very easy to put on at least a button down or something with a collar when you're going to shoots. It'll make a difference, and like we've talked about in another one of these tips, it'll make it more likely that your clients don't feel the need to stay around for every shoot and can trust you to be a part of their team. So dress to represent your clients well. Number 6 is an easy one for some people and an impossible one for others, but if you figure out a way to make it happen, your clients will love you, and that is being on time. At my photo business, we have a phrase which is 5 minutes early is right on time, and on time is late. And so I'd encourage you to adopt that in your business and try to always be 5 minutes early for your photo shoot. There are a ton of photographers that constantly run between 0 and 15 minutes late, and I just don't think that's a good look, and it's annoying for your clients. Remember, your clients, they do not want to sit there and talk to people at the house 99% of the time, right? So the faster you get there, the more punctual you are, the more you get the job done and get out, means they don't have to sit there and make weird conversation with their clients, at least most of them. They just don't like that, right? And regardless of that, it's just a good trait to be on time. We've heard so often that people love working with us because weirdly on time, or we're waiting outside when the agent pulls up. And I think it's a small thing that makes a big difference. So try to optimize around that. Number 7 is paint the shed. Now, here's what I mean by this. There is a story that I've told here on YouTube before where early on in my business, we might have been making, I don't know, $3,000 to $6,000 a month at that phase. So very small business, where we got to a shoot and the homeowner was outside viciously painting the front of a shed that they wanted to be all gray, and it was going to be in a lot of the exterior photos. And I didn't know how long it was going to take them to paint it, and I definitely could have photoshopped it, but what I did instead was I said, I'm just gonna put my camera down and help you paint the shed. She had literally another roller there. And so I just started painting the front of the shed, and it took me 15, 20 minutes. And we painted the shed, and that story, I don't think we'll ever be able to live it down. That client will probably use us until the day she stops selling real estate, loves us, tells everybody that story. And so the motto here is that you can't do extraordinary things at every shoot because that just won't be possible. You'll have shoots back to back. But if you get to a shoot where you have the opportunity and have the time to do something that doesn't make sense, it will make you many dollars in the future if you spend that time to go out of your way to do something that is completely unexpected. It's kind of the difference between a good experience and like a so confusingly great experience that people can't help but share it is not that much. So there's been times where it was the last shoot of the day, it was 3 o'clock, the house was a wreck, maybe it was a single mom, or there was a life circumstance there that we just felt like it would be a great opportunity to jump in and help, and we spent an hour and a half cleaning. We don't do that at every shoot, but we've done it enough in the times where it really mattered to that person. And when you do stuff like that, it matters to your clients as well. People see that, and so everything you do doesn't have to be perfectly optimized for profit, especially profit in the short term. If you're doing these things to I gotta get out of here faster, I gotta squeeze these, that's important to maintain efficiency, but also if you just grow your business by being the best person around and by doing things that other people wouldn't do, you will have more opportunities and be able to do things that other people are unable to do because of the things that they wouldn't do. And so my advice to you is when you have the opportunity in front of you, paint the shed. Number 8 is the homeowner is your client too, and a lot of people forget that. They think that the real estate agent is their only client, but here's the real secret. If you go out of the way when the real estate agent is there, and even when they're not, to show that you care just as much about that homeowner's experience that you do your client's experience, a funny thing happens and the agents stop showing up to shoots. And when they stop showing up to shoots, it is so much faster and easier for you to get your job done because they're not breathing over your shoulder, they're not giving you feedback, they're not getting in the way with the sellers. And the way that you're going to convince them not to show up is by making it so they don't need to worry about their client's experience working with you. They know that if you treat their client like your client, you're going to provide a good experience and they don't need to waste their time and show up. And that is huge, not only because it makes it faster for you, but also because it makes them not want to leave you for other people because they don't have to show up and waste their time at a shoot. And when they're not there, still continue to maintain that relationship, try to make as good of an experience as possible that your client's client. When you do that, oftentimes that client will send a text to the agent, say, hey, they were great, thank you so much. And that right there is worth so much. Number 9 is focus on LTV, not AOV. And here's what that means. LTV is a lifetime value. So the total amount that your customer will pay you over the time that they use you, whether that's a month or a year or 10 years. Not just AOV, which is average order value, the amount that they're paying you for one shoot. If you've heard me talk, this may sound a little bit backwards because you know how important that I think average order value is and how important it is to improve that. Here's the thing, there are ways to improve that are good and bad. So we talked about fees earlier. You could increase your average order value by charging fees, but that's going to negatively impact your LTV, your lifetime value. So while you may get more money for one shoot, you may go from 250 to 300, you'll prevent yourself from doing 50 more shoots in the future at 250. So you have to really keep that in mind. When you maximize average order value, it shouldn't be in ways that take away from your client's experience and make them not want to use you again. Because the biggest and most important thing that makes real estate photography is such a great industry is that a customer's lifetime value is high. Even though the invoices are not that high, maybe $200 to $700, that customer will use you again and again and again and again and again. And if you keep them doing that, especially over a period of years, you're able to build a much bigger business than if you're churning clients because you're focusing on short-term dollars. And number 10, the stupidest one of them all, in my opinion, is never argue with your clients about photo rights. So many photographers do that. It's a controversial topic in the industry. At my photo business, where we do a ton of shoots and make a lot of money, we never charge anybody for photo rights. They pay the initial cost. Whatever they do with the photos, we don't care about because that's not where we make our money. And I know there's different schools of thought there and other niches in photography are heavily dependent on licensing, but anytime you make a photo rights issue with a client, you take that client's experience with you down. And we know that the most important thing in this business is that client's experience. And therefore, if you keep that good experience, you keep that client lifetime value high. And that's how you make your money in this business. And you can disagree with that. That's okay. Just know that the biggest businesses out there in the real estate photography industry do not fight their clients over photo rights. So if you find the need to, just know that you're going against what the most successful people in this industry do, and you better have a dang good reason for doing that. It is just not where we make our money, and it's not worth getting into a fight over, even if the client is wrong, which in this area, they almost are always wrong. They don't understand photo rights, and that's okay. It's just not how it works in this industry. Every time you fight your clients for photo rights, you take a piece of your business and you throw it away, and if you do that too much, soon there's none left for you to grab and throw away. So just don't do that. Make your money on the front end. You'll make way more money in the long term, not fighting over stupid scraps that just don't apply in this industry. That's all for this video. If you want to learn more about how we approach real estate photography and you want to learn the first 5 things I recommend doing to get your real estate photo business off the ground and to get clients, I highly encourage you to check out the workshop linked in my bio. And if you'd like to work with my team one-on-one, whether you're just thinking about starting a photo business or you already have a business with 5, 10 employees and you want to take it to the next level, we would love to work with you one-on-one in our coaching programs. You'll be able to book a link to a call below. And here's the deal. This is not a high pressure sales call. We reject the majority of the applicants we get. And the reason we do that is because we only want to work with people we can help. And so this call is about seeing where your business is at, what your goals are. And if we think we can help, then we'll tell you more about how we do our coaching programs. But I just don't believe in high pressure sales. And I don't need to do high pressure sales because my goal is not to get more people into our programs. It's to get more of the right people into our programs. That's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one.